Okay, in this video, we are going to learn how to use known areas to compute the definite integral. Now, this is useful because we have not yet figured out how to compute the definite integral. We just have a definition for it, and we've seen that we can set up the Riemann sum and then take the limit, but that's quite a long process. So we want to figure out, well, are there other ways that we might be able to calculate the definite integral? And since it represents area under a curve, there might be if our curves are pretty simple and we can find their area using geometry. So we're going to start with we're just going to do 3 examples in this video. First, let's compute the integral from 0 to b, where b is a constant greater than 0, of x dx. So this means that our function is f of x dx that we're integrating. F of x equal x, right? Or y equals x is the function that we're integrating. That gives us the height of the rectangles. That is just a straight line that passes through the origin. I'm only drawing it in quadrant 1 because I know that my integral, I'm only interested in the integral from 0 to b, where b is some quantity that's greater than 0. So we're interested in finding the area between our function y equals x and the x-axis on the interval from 0 to b. Well, you can see that this is a right triangle, so we probably can just use the area of a triangle because definite integrals represent area. So since our function is y equals x, or f of x equals x, this height will be the same as, right, every point on this function has the same x and y value. So that point that I just drew has coordinates b, b. When x is b, y is b, they're the same. So the height here is b, and the base of our right triangle is also b, or b minus 0. And so we know that the area is going to be 1/2 times the base of the triangle times the height of the triangle. Well, we just saw that the base is b and the height is also b, so this just gives us b squared over 2, or 1/2 b squared. So we can state here that the integral from 0 to b of our function x dx is b squared over 2. Now, we don't need to memorize this or anything. This is something that you can recreate yourselves because I know you know the area of a right triangle, but I'm just showing you how we can use areas right now to evaluate some definite integrals. Okay, let's try another one that's very similar here. We have the same function. Notice what can get the function that we're integrating is inside the integral. It's the integrand. And our function is, again, y equals x, or f of x equals x. That's the function we are integrating. And that, again, is just a straight line that makes a 45-degree angle with the x-axis. So this is the line y equals x, or f of x equals x. Now, I'm once again only drawing in quadrant 1 because I can see that we want the integral from a to b, and both a and b are positive. So this is telling me that maybe a is over here and maybe b is over here, and what we are really looking for is the area under our function, between the function and the x-axis from a to b. So we want to know, what is this area? What is its value? There's a few different ways we can do that, right? We might recognize that the shape between our function y equals x on the interval from a to b on the x-axis is a trapezoid, right? This is a trapezoid. And the 2 parallel bases are the function values, right? This is one base, this is another base. If you think about this trapezoid being sideways, right, we can think of it like this. Sorry about my crooked trapezoid, where this is our line, y equals x is that piece. And we have the height. This is the height right here of the trapezoid in the way that I've drawn it. And the height of our trapezoid is b minus a. And then one base of the trapezoid, this base, well, we know that this point is on the line y equals x, so that height is a. And this height we know is b. So we have that one base is a and one base is b. And the area of a trapezoid, let me use a different color here. I'll use green. The area of a trapezoid, this is not the only way to do it, is going to be 1/2 times the height, and then we multiply by the sum of the two bases. So let's go ahead and do that. This is going to give us 1/2. Well, we know the height is b minus a, and the sum of the two bases is b plus a, or a plus b. Well, we can write this as, because we're multiplying a term, a binomial times its conjugate, this is really, if I multiply out, that's just b squared minus a squared. And so we could write this as b squared over 2 minus a squared over 2, and that's the value of our integral, which is the area of the trapezoid. Now, we could have used the work that we did above, because you might have seen this a little differently. And you might have seen it as a larger right triangle. I'm drawing it right now in yellow. And that triangle is exactly the same one whose integral we found above. So we know the area of the yellow triangle, right, or the integral from 0 to b of x dx. We know that this is b squared over 2. And now in green, we have another little triangle right here from 0 to a, which we can represent with the integral 0 to a of x dx. And since that has exactly the same form as the integral above, well, that should just be a squared over 2. And we can find the area of the blue region, the trapezoid, by subtracting the area of the yellow triangle, of the green triangle, from the area of the yellow triangle. So we can write this as an equation, right? We can say, okay, then the area, the integral from a to b of x dx should be the integral from 0 to b of x dx minus the integral from 0 to a of x dx. And we found both of these already. The first one is b squared over 2, and the second one is a squared over 2. And you can see that that gives us exactly the same thing as what we obtained when we found the area of the trapezoid. So another example where we can use, if we're just integrating a line, then we should be able to use triangles or trapezoids or some kind of geometric object to find its area. All right, we're going to do one last example of using area to calculate definite integrals. And this is not a line, so let's attend to what our function is in the integrand. So our function is y equals the square root of 16 minus x squared. You might recognize that already. I'm going to rewrite it a bit, and I'm going to square both sides of this equation and write y squared equals 16 minus x squared. And I'm going to move the x squared to the left side of the equation by adding it, so that I have x squared plus y squared equals 16. Now you might recognize this as a circle centered at the origin with radius 4. This is the equation of a circle, right? X squared plus y squared equals r squared. However, we only have the positive root here that's given to us, right? So if we work backwards, when we solve for y this way, okay, that looks good. But when we take the square root of both sides, we would usually have a plus or minus. But we only have the positive part, which means that this is only going to be a semicircle, the part that's above the x-axis, still having a radius of 4. So on the interval from -4 to 4, but because this is only the positive y, right? Y's are always, let's put a note here, y values are always positive because when we take the square root, we don't get a plus or minus. So we are above positive or 0, above the x-axis. So we want the area of this semicircle. Well, the area of a circle, we know it to be pi r squared. If we want a semicircle, then we just divide that by 2. So we're going to use a equals 1/2 pi r squared. And for our problem, r is equal to 4. And so we can find that area by doing 1/2 pi times 4 squared is 16. And so this area, or the value of the integral, is going to be 8 pi. And so we have found that the integral from negative 4 to 4 of the square root of 16 minus x squared dx is equal to 8